State your name and your questions.
My name is Jay Bramer, and thank you, Michael, for coming and speaking to us. I think historically, one thing that's very significant and important is always, with any movement, the most significant element is what are God's people doing in that. In this movement, and I see it's very significant, and it's amazing how that God has, in His providence, provided this opportunity through Article 5 for us to do something as a people. And my question to you, Michael, would be, as far as the spiritual element, as far as the people of God, the Christian community, what do you see going on there? I feel like one of the prerequisites is people's heart need to be right. People will engage in that, God's people in particular. Is there a movement out there, or are there those that are organized, working within the church and God's people, that you see cooperating with this effort?
Okay. Thank you for a very important question. Let me just, every member of our staff is born again Christian. For the Convention States Project staff. David Barton, Wall Builders, are on board with us. I'm speaking at the Wall Builders Conference again this year. I spoke there last year. But it is not limited to born again Christians. As far as the activists and our district captains and our state leaders and so on, we have other people as well. As a federal judge once said to me when I was facing people for the American Way in the courtroom, and it was about a public school textbook dispute, and we were trying to get the kids an alternative reader, and the people from the American Way lawyers said, well, they say they just want an alternative reader, but what Mr. Farris really wants is to ban the book because he doesn't like its religion, and he's a book banner. And the federal judge, really smart, said, well, I suppose Mr. Farris wants everybody in his courtroom to get saved, but he's not asking me to order it. And it was right on both counts. We are working together with people of goodwill who believe in the Constitution of the United States, who believe in limited government. And if some of them happen to get saved along the way, I'd be happy about that. But that's not our primary goal. But here's the spiritual impact of this thing. In Washington, D.C., there are 4 real elements. And it's all about who is God. One group believes that man is God. That's the ACLU and some other forms of people who take that kind of view. There's the group that believes that money is God. There's a group that believes that government is God, and that's the chief one we're dealing with here. And there's the group that believes that God is God. We are facing problems like the Hobby Lobby case. We're facing problems like the Oregon bakery being ordered to make a cake for a same-sex wedding. The New Mexico photography being ordered to take pictures for a same-sex wedding. Not because just the marriage issue's gotten messed up, but because we have the wrong view of who's God. When government thinks it's God, it invades God's actual space. And what we're seeing it do. So in a spiritual sense, what we're saying right here to the federal government is, you're not God. And if you want to spiritualize it, it's that simple. You're not God. You're supposed to be the servant of the people, not their masters. That is a task reserved for God Himself.
Can I add one thing? I want to add one thing that's really important for all of you to know is that we pray before all of our meetings because this isn't about us. It's not about any of us who want to achieve some great career success. We're all volunteers. We're all sacrificing for this. And one of the important mantras from headquarters around the country is that our goal is to be nice. Because the same people that are very stubborn and don't want to jump on board, we need to make a warm, nice, positive place. Because I guarantee you when things get tough and they see that this is working, they're going to want to jump on board. And those are going to be our biggest champions. So we want to be nice, which should be easy for us as Christians, right? Number 2, God does not want us to be victims. He wants us to be out there spreading the good news and being salt and light. And leading my Texas team here, I always go back to Galatians 5, right? Because God says, I put liberty in your hearts so that you will never be enslaved again. He wrote it. It's in our DNA. That's why our founding fathers craved it. They wanted to be free, and instinctively they knew what it would take and that it was right. And so I just ask for all of you, go back, read Galatians 5:1, 5:13. They're very important. It's what we lead here in Texas for the Convention of States Project. And we want to share that good news with everyone. You don't have to be enslaved, whatever it is.
Last question.
Well, we've got
Two last questions.
two last questions.